Hi guys, welcome to TCS Everyday Psychics. It's good to have you here. I'm with the lovely Heather, and if you don't know me already, I'm Nathan, and we're here to have an enjoyable time. For that, yes, please like, subscribe, ring that notification bell. We love your comments, please. Those of you who are avid viewers, we love your comments. So please go ahead and let us know what you think and what you feel and what you thought of the video. It'd be really good.
Hmm.
I might have a dog coming in and out, so it's not a
Okay,
ghost. So it's my dog. Yes, and not only do we do point of view reaction videos, but we also, if you go to our website, everydaypsychics.com, we have a website where we do clearings. So if you have something that goes bump in the night, or maybe it's something you just would like to ask us a question, see if we can tap into and let you know. And majority of the time, anything that goes bump in the night is usually just the energy that we've always created, or somebody else before us if we've moved into a new home, and we'll just help add love and balance
yeah.
and yeah into it. Also on the website we have some spiritual healing, spiritual
Hmm.
development, readings. So yes, and I know Marci is going to be doing some readings soon, so yes,
Yes.
keep an eye on that. Yeah, so nothing is a problem to us, how big, how small. Just go
Hmm.
to the comments bit on the website. Doop, 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 doop. And also, if you want us to look at a new video, so if you think, oh, they must want to see them react to this video, send it in the consent message on our website rather than
Yes, through
YouTube.
the website.
Anything else from you, Heather?
Be careful leaning in for those of you who might try. It seems important today to say, be careful with that. I would encourage against it.
Yeah, I agree. But we know some of you will. Because if we say no, you go, yes! You naughty bunnies, you just naughty. Yes, I would say
That's true.
it's true, isn't it? It's like, don't smoke. No, I'm not smoking. No, no, no.
Well, we
Yeah,
try to
we
tell you,
tried. We
but
tried. So actually, so this week we have it's but from the tape library. So usually the ones we've done this have been very good, and we're doing the horrifying. Did I say that right? The horrifying legends of Castle Grayskull. No, Castle Houska. Houska? I'm going to say
Houska?
Houska because it looks like Hasaka, but you're right, Houska. And that is in Poland, I think. I think it might be
Okay.
in Poland. It's
Is
definitely
it?
east of Eastern Europe, and it's a paranormal documentary. So yes, so we will feel
Huh.
into
Okay.
this and see what comes up. So so this week it's not people running around naked in terms of ghost investigators. Oh my God, I feel it, I feel it, I feel it, I feel it, and then it's an open window behind them. No,
Right.
it's this is a documentary, and these documentaries quite good. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Mm.
So get
Get
settled,
started.
find somewhere comfy.
Yeah.
You've got your water, your coffee or tea, and relax and let us entertain you.
Yeah.
Okay, without further ado, let's go.
The chains clanked together as the prisoners were marched through the field. They had walked for miles at this point, chained together at the wrists and ankles, as they made their way past the swampy land, out in the middle of nowhere, somewhere deep in the Czech Republic. The guards flanking them on all sides on their horses. They were marching forward on a promise. The Duke himself had come to the prison just a few days earlier and presented an offer to several of the men. who were awaiting a dark fate in their prison cells. If they would come with him and his men and help discover what was inside a hole at the site of a former fort, they would be pardoned and released. A motley crew of rapists and murderers all jumped at the chance, knowing this would be their only chance they would ever get to be free. Yet as the large limestone cliff came into view, with the long decayed remains of a wooden fort on top of it, a sense of fear washed over them. Why exactly would the Duke present what appeared on paper to be such a simple task to a group of men who had nothing to lose? As they reached the top of the path, they finally got a good look at the hole. The remaining men who weren't already suspicious and fearful certainly were now. One of the guards who had accompanied them there laid out how this was going to work. One by one, the men would be slowly lowered down into the hole by a rope. Their task was simple: to reach the bottom of the pit and then come back up and report what they had seen. They would start at the first man in the line and continue on until someone was able to successfully reach the bottom and tell the guards what it was they wanted to know. The first prisoner approached, a young man who had taken the life of another just a short time before this day. His life had changed so suddenly in that moment of unbridled rage, and he now found himself glancing down into what looked like a bottomless pit as the guards began to fasten the rope around his waist. There was no hope of seeing the bottom. All that lay there before him was darkness. But what choice did he have? If he went back to his cell, death surely awaited him. At least this gave him a chance at living his life as a free man. The guards began to lower the prisoner down. Very quickly, the world became a very dark place for the prisoner. As he trembled, the pitch blackness of the earth swallowed him whole. The guards and prisoners alike crowded around the edge of the hole, trying to see or hear anything from the man who had just been lowered in. But after just a few short seconds of being lowered in, it was almost like he vanished. There was nothing, just a rope descending into darkness and an uncomfortable silence. That was until the screaming started. The prisoner's screams echoed around the walls of the pit. The guards quickly grabbed the rope and began hoisting it back up, the screams growing louder and louder with every surge of effort the men put into pulling him back into our world. After a short while, they saw the man, still screaming as he was being pulled out of the darkness. But something was different. It was difficult to tell as he was still being pulled up, but once the guards hoisted him back over the edge and onto the ground, they all froze in a stunned silence. The young, dirty-faced man that they had lowered into the hole just a few minutes before was covered in deep wrinkles. His hair was grey, and his eyes as wide as saucers with fear. The man had somehow aged decades. While they were sure he hadn't made it to the bottom, they needed to know what had happened. What made him scream? What had caused his appearance to change so rapidly? They couldn't get much out of him, but he made reference to an impenetrable blackness, horrible smells, and most concerning, the sound of distant screaming that was not his own. That was all the guards could get out of him before his rambles descended into indecipherable gibberish. The prisoner was taken back by a single guard as the rest got the next prisoner ready to head into the hole. The first prisoner was taken back.
Oh, I think this must be a first. 4 minutes into the video.
Yeah.
I didn't stop it. So what are your initial thoughts on this straight away?
Okay. Yeah, it's terrible energy. So they showed the chains around like their legs and wrists. I see chains around the neck. I also get confusion, but like delirious in nature. Men were fighting each other. Some level of competition with it. And as they were describing a man going down in that really deep, dark hole, whatever it is, I felt like a stab or like a hit to my right eye. Um, Also, the sense of insanity. So, people going insane, psychosis setting in. And then, lastly, the gentleman that they um, left, we left with, who they said had aged. So it was presented by Spirit as it's like he was turning to stone. And I need more time on that. That's just where we stopped.
Like
What did you
Medusa.
get?
Like Medusa.
Oh, yeah.
She would turn everything. Hellmouth. I think that's what they sort of thought it was. I've got loads of sort of things, just very portal or doorway,
Mm,
time slip,
yes.
and it's within the actual timing going in. So I don't know what the screaming is. I think it was so I had something here, so I think it was more mind, so it's about the mind, and I don't know if it was because he's getting older or changing, some of that was the screaming, but yeah, because if it was a time slip and he'd aged so many years, then he wouldn't be attached to the rope still, you know.
Right.
So I know that's my ego then kicking in, trying to work it out. But just got time slip. There's and it said something that did age.
Yes.
They're trying to obviously, like every human, be very inquisitive and trying to find things out. So, and this time slip has also, I think, sent something to do. It fucks your head. Excuse my language. It does something to the head.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is or why that is. It just felt like you would. Feels like every fear, anxiety, every low vibrational feeling is surfaced from lowering into that hole.
It's also an inability for our physical body or for these people's physical bodies to handle
Yeah, I agree.
what
I get
the
adrenaline.
energy,
So it'd be like
and
someone injecting you. You know when you get
yeah,
injected to put you to sleep. It'd be like that, but all those emotions, everything, the adrenaline going through, and you get it all at once, and it's overpowering, overwhelming.
yeah,
Yeah,
can't handle it.
yeah, no, the human body couldn't handle it. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Nothing paranormal or anything. I don't know. I'm not saying no, but it's just the instincts I've got. Something is reacting. They are reacting to something, but I don't know what it is.
I don't know yet.
No. Okay.
Back in the hope that after some rest, he would be able to reveal more. Within 48 hours, he was dead. Whatever had happened to him in that hole, his heart couldn't take it. Welcome to the Tape Library. Tonight we're heading to Europe to explore a location that has an unbelievably rich history of folklore and apparent paranormal goings-on. A few of you had suggested I tackle this one, and at first I thought, oh, it's just a haunted castle. Was I wrong? We've got stories of demons, pagan rituals, time travel, occultism, ghosts, and even Nazis, all centered around one castle in a remote area of the Czech Republic. We're going to be covering events that take us from 800 AD all the way up to the present day. Usually I try to tell these stories as they were originally reported, but attempt to give you a little look at the skeptical view on things as well for balance. But because we're dealing with such a long chunk of history, and most of these stories are simply spread through word of mouth, I think we're going to just delve into the folklore surrounding this place and have a bit of fun with it. Because even if you don't believe any of this at all, the story of this place is a wild ride. So let's get into it, shall we? Get yourself a warm drink, dim the lights, and get comfortable. It's time to delve into the horrifying legends of Houska Castle and the gate to hell it apparently protects.
Sorry to butt in there. I suddenly got a hit. The Nazis were looking for something. I got a hit of something
Okay.
where they were. It wasn't just where they would stay and stuff and take over. And they was. It's like during the Second World War, Nazis would try and hunt for artifacts, and especially religious artifacts. Well, likewise, it felt like on the opposite scale.
I see figures in dark robes.
Yeah.
I see lanterns, but I'm seeing lanterns getting past and going down this thing, this hole. I don't have a time yet, though.
And I also see up-to-date people chained going down the hole.
Present day.
Well, not present day, but so like in Second World War.
Okay.
Yeah. And they're not prisoners, are they? They're, well, prisoners of war. Yes, something not very sadistic. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
I agree.
Ownership and history of the castle could be a video in all of itself. Houska sits in a strange location, north of Prague, in a remote, swampy region of the Czech Republic. While the castle is in a remarkable state even to this day, what now stands on the grounds of Houska Castle isn't the original structure. Sometime in the late 800s, Prince Slavibor came across the location that would become Houska. He seemingly decided to build a wooden castle, something that wouldn't have been unusual at the time. Historians have suggested the prince intended the fort to be a home for his son, but why he chose this location exactly appears to be shrouded in mystery. While remote, the location of Houska had seemingly drawn people there multiple times over the years, with evidence suggesting it had been somewhere the Slavic people and the Celts had both either called home or at least visited for some reason. There are some oddities about the location of Houska Castle. We'll get into those a little later. Construction of the fort quickly began, but something happened that caused a few issues. Much of the surrounding area is made up of limestone cliffs, and the location of Houska was no exception. There are some that suggest areas of heavy limestone have some sort of connection to paranormal events. While building continued, the limestone split. Not a particularly uncommon occurrence, but this split in the cliff left a particularly large hole, one that the workers couldn't seem to find the bottom of. They began to fill it with stone, but no matter how much they poured into the crevice, it never seemed to even begin to fill. The stone never even made a sound as they poured it in, as though it was never actually hitting the bottom of the hole. The exact events that took place at this point are a little unclear, but this certainly seemed to mark the start of the reports of strange things being spotted around the area of Houska Castle. The locals began referring to this hole as a gateway to hell. Most would never venture near the hole, especially late at night, but those who did claimed that soon after it had opened up, creatures had started to crawl out of it, the most common of which were described as dark, shadowy figures with large, leathery, bat-like wings. They would be seen crawling out of the hole by those who dared to venture near it, but were also apparently spotted flying overhead the location of the fort from those in the closest settlements. Others made references to a whole host of other creatures that appeared to be part human and part animal. One of the more notable of these creatures is described as being a strange mix between a frog, a dog, and a person. This hole to hell and the subsequent beasts that appear to be escaping from it was very quickly blamed for the issues that the locals were having. Men were apparently being struck down with strange illnesses. Livestock were found dead, or in some cases were being carried off into the night by the creatures from the hole, and many of the crops in the area began to fail. Prince Slavibor's family would never move into the wooden fortress, Those who were staying there during the construction quickly fled before it could be completed. Whatever happened here, there appears to be more to it than mere local superstition, and the prince's men left the fortress abandoned, never to return. It would be around 400 years later before anyone attempted to build on the location again. Sometime in the late 1200s, seemingly under the orders of Ottokar II of Bohemia, a castle would be built on the location.
Sorry, I should have paused it. Did you get anything from the part one?
I feel people being drawn there. There's an attraction,
Yeah.
but it is a low vibe attraction.
Tractor beam. It's like a tractor beam.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got, you know, when you, there was it was doing description, there was a stream. I'm just showing the stream. That's where I got, attraction. It felt like more to, obviously,
I think that's when I got it too. Go ahead.
low dimensional, not lower dimensional. No, what I'm saying. People, their dimension is low. That's why, you know, their feelings are low, and it attracted because it felt, there was a need, a want.
Yeah.
It seems, it attracted bad juju. Let's just say that.
It did.
Attracted bad juju. The monsters or the bat things. What did you make of that?
I did see what I felt was a low vibe entity of some sort. I don't know exactly what it was. I mean, you know, there are many other dimensions, guys. So when we say low vibe, that encompasses so many different things.
Yeah.
It would be really hard you couldn't give a number, but it would be hard to even categorize all of them and what they look like. And we don't even know all of them. But I saw one. What I got him, he's on a rope. For a lack of a better term. It's like he's pulling people towards it. It felt like a need for the energy, but there's something, an exchange, some type of an exchange of energy. This is a long time ago, too.
I think it's a one-way. It feels like a one-way exchange.
Yeah.
Feed. I got feeding.
Yeah, pulling them in.
Yeah. Again, either a doorway. It felt like someone said a doorway, or the door was left open or created or something like, and that could have been a portal. I don't know, but I got also some of the stories are fictional. Excuse me, fictional, exaggerated, but within all that mystery, there is it felt like there was something not of this earth. Let's just put it that way.
Do you see any entities actually coming out of there? As that was some of the accounts had described that.
Yes. But I don't know if it was actual reason why I'm slightly questioning, because our visualization of what we would see as a dog or a horse or a person, it feels like it was more I'm gonna say vibrational, didn't match our vibration.
Mm-hmm.
Something not right that we, you would probably see it, and then I don't know if see through it or something. I don't know. It's just
Yeah.
I can't explain it. What I can say is by these things coming into our environment, it obviously, like any animal, brings spores, things started dying. Obviously, you
Right.
know, it would be like sort of like you're having a farm and you've left the gate open and a fox gets in and kills all your chickens.
Yeah.
Or, you know,
That's a great example. Yeah.
this is what this sort of feels like. Um, and no one could, it feels like no one at the time could put their finger on it. So they put it down to, oh, it was a bear or whatever. But then when somebody had seen something, then they're like, oh, and then that's where the stories unfolded. But it feels
Yes.
it's very confusing.
Yeah, I don't see anything coming out, but I feel it. And it's like small, but it's not like I can put form to it in
Yeah,
the way that they're describing. Like they're seeing these big kind of beasts with wings. I don't get any of that
no,
personally.
I think that's folklore.
Yeah.
Feels folklore to one, to keep people away, to scare and keep scaremongering, keep people away.
Which is a positive because it's a bad spot, you know?
Well, that's it. I mean, in those days, what would you do? You know, if you're not, you know, majority of people had a religion back in those days, I suppose, didn't they, as well? So,
Yeah. Yeah.
um, you know, it's the Hellmouth. Oh my God. So people stayed away. It was probably kids that were inquisitive and going to it and stuff. But
Yes.
you would be drawn, people wanting power, control, would be drawn to it.
Yes. I totally agree.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
The now ruined wooden fort, this time from stone. There have been some suggestions that the intention of Houska Castle was to act as an administration building for the local area. However, I'm a little unsure if this has ever been confirmed. Certainly, when Ottokar's men arrived at the location, they would have known about the legend of the Gate to Hell. The stories had not gone away over the last few hundred years, in some cases even growing in intensity. They were particularly interested in this pit, that they were told that the locals had repeatedly tried to fill in, but had failed to even make a dent in. This is when the plan was put together to send prisoners into the hole, to see if there was any truth to this Gate to Hell story that was spreading throughout the Czech countryside. Of course, we already know what happened to the first prisoner, but it is said that much the same happened to all the subsequent men who were lowered into the hole. Most came out looking aged. All of them lost their minds. Only one prisoner apparently didn't. He was only lowered into the darkness for a split second, before begging to be pulled out, stating that there was something unholy underneath Houska Castle. He would much rather face whatever punishment may come from his crimes than venture any further into that hole. Despite not being able to solve the mystery of what was inside that hole, construction of the castle continued. Stone slabs were laid over the top of the hole, and atop these slabs, they built the castle's chapel, seemingly in a vain hope of keeping whatever evil they believed existed there at bay. This is something of a common practice of the time too, creating something that was viewed as positive and holy to counteract some sort of dark history or evil that may have taken place at a specific location. To this day, remnants of the pictures that were created on the chapel's walls remain. There seems to be imagery of the Archangel Michael lancing a demon on the ground, as well as more strangely a part animal, part human depiction. In this image, it appears to be a creature with the torso of a woman and the lower body of an animal. In her hands, she is drawing back her bow, specifically with her left hand, which was said at the time to be a sign of evil. But this is when we can get into some of the oddities surrounding the building of Houska itself. The castle has been renovated many times over the years as it's passed around in ownership, which leads to some confusion over what elements actually represented what the original castle looked like. But the common claim is that this castle appears to have effectively been built inside out. This is often described as a cube within a cube within a cube, There are few windows and no battlements that would have allowed archers to point their bows outside the castle to defend it. Instead, all of the castle's defences appear to be facing inwards, as though the building were designed to stop something from getting out, and not to deter enemies from getting in. What's more, the very location appears to be a strange choice. There doesn't seem to be any strategic reason for Castle Houska's placement. No running water seemed to be close to the castle. No kitchen was seemingly built in its original construction. It was not along any trade routes and was some distance from any settlements. It doesn't feel like Castle Houska was ever intended to function as a castle at all. It was simply built to encase something within.
And it's got prison. You know, don't know what it is, then cover it up, keep it within. Spiritually, there is a high, a high, oh my God, what was the high volume? No, high vibrational, I don't know if it's energy or is it an angel or something. It does guard the site.
Ah, that's
Something
lovely.
high vibrational is like just keeps everything together, as it were, within. I don't know if something. I think it's probably I think it's not one. It's not like an angel. I think it's the vibration keeping in, and then what you would interpret it would be like an angel or something.
Is that to keep the door closed?
I don't think it's closed.
You think it's open?
I think it's open and it's like pressure from our side, trying to prevent anything getting through.
Okay.
That's what it feels like to me.
I heard close the door. So that would support that it is still open.
Yeah.
That's what.
And what is strange, I don't think it's from our side. As surely we would be able to close it by now. I don't know, something's weird about it that I either can't or I just got a hit. It's on the other side, so you'd have to close the door from the other side.
Oh boy.
But it's just then right. If we can't do that, just put measures in place.
Right.
Feels like the energy keeping it in. It's like a champagne bottle. Pop.
Yeah.
You just hope that the bottle doesn't explode or the top comes off and it's like, yeah.
There was at some point somebody who went there and their intention was to harness the energy, but they had no idea what they were doing and it didn't work out.
I wonder if that was the Nazis.
Oh, okay.
Don't to set
It
up
could
a
have
bunch
been.
of salt, but there is something. I felt they were doing something, trying to do something. Definitely trying
That's
to
right.
win the war. But
Yeah.
it wouldn't have been the first time. It feels like it wouldn't have been the first time. Wouldn't have been the first time. There's also are they Earthies? Why would Earthies be trapped around there? There are some. I got an earthy hit, or earthies hit, and it's weird because it feels like they're not. Okay, they're off the rocker, as it were, but they're not.
Yeah.
They're there to help keep it in. But also, there's a mixture that what are there to get the They're low vibration because they're low vibration themselves because they're attracted to it. But there's also something, yeah. So some of the people that were chained or a contract, I don't know. I think my ego's kicking in, trying to find a solution. Just there are earthies there. I'm not saying
Yeah.
it's not bad. There, to discourage people going to there, discourage, yeah. But why would you have, it's like people have, it feels like a contract or agreed. I don't know. Would earthies do that? I don't know. I might be getting mixed up with this number of things.
I don't know, but I agree that there are earthies there.
Yeah. But it
I
doesn't
got
feel,
a definite one that had been a prisoner there.
yes.
And I saw the chains and I saw him kind of like not mud, but I don't know how to explain it. It's just an old area. It's like down there. It's not in the hole, but it's like around there somewhere. If they could show a picture, maybe.
You know what it's like is if we suddenly encountered them today, we'd be like, "Oh my God, I don't want to go there," and go away. It's like a precursor that if you spotted it, it would be, "Hey, you're dealing with the unknown. This is what's going to happen to you." It feels like that. And these people, these earthies, it feels. I don't know if they would agree to it. Would they? I don't know. Or they've just been. I don't get that they're trapped there. Doesn't feel, or they, I don't know. Maybe they agree to be there, but it feels like they're helping to discourage any action. And then there's something else that's no, they just want to get
Boy,
in.
that is strange. I hear everyone has their place. This is very odd. There's something about that. And it's fitting with what you're sharing.
I don't. It just I'm going to have to ask Mari-Lyn on this one. Why would? Oh, hang on. Or am I could be feeling into residual energy that then if you come across it, it'd be like, oh, I don't want to do that. Something's laid an imprint definitely around the area. I think there are earthies there, but yeah.
There's also the impression of splitting because of the insanity piece, what was done. I'm just getting this splitting. So within the person, and then the energy splitting.
Yeah. Okay.
We'll
Interesting.
see.
Interesting. Okay, let's go.
The building of the chapel and the covering of the whole didn't really seem to achieve anything. Stories of winged beasts being spotted over the courtyard of the now completed Castle Houska were commonplace, as well as a number of strange apparitions that have been regularly reported, dating from the original construction all the way up to the present day. Some claim to see a horse running through the forests that surround the castle late at night. While this may not be unusual in its own right, the more concerning descriptions state that this horse doesn't appear to have a head. Where its head should be was an open wound, gushing out blood from the neck as it ran past witnesses before disappearing. This isn't the only headless apparition that has been reported, with many also claiming to see a man staggering about in much the same fashion. No head, leaving a trail of blood in his wake, before it all just vanishes. Elsewhere on the grounds surrounding the castle, there are stories of people seeing a row of prisoners, all dressed in black robes. These prisoners are chained together, clanking as they move. Disturbingly, they are often described as carrying body parts with them. Some witnesses have explained that those body parts are their own. A pack of dogs is regularly said to be chasing the prisoners, gnawing at them as they walk. ripping limbs from them. But this doesn't stop the black-robed men. They simply pick up whatever parts the dogs rip off them and continue on their path. A more traditional ghost that is regularly spotted is that of a...
What do you make of that?
Which one?
The
The horse or...
uh,
So one thing I'm getting, I heard it's like nightmares. So there's something about energy that has leaked out, and it's like it creates nightmare visions.
yeah. There's something not right. Images coming. Yeah, it's images from the brain.
Yeah.
I do think the cloaked figures are
Mm.
it's residual energy,
Yes.
and you would say, oh, what's that? I'm not, but I think it felt dramatized. What I mean was
Oh, yeah.
body parts and stuff falling off, and that felt dramatized.
Yeah, that's residual. They were definitely there. They were cloaked. Yeah.
Yeah, both chained and unchained. To see
Hmm.
some of them felt ceremonial, some felt, I wouldn't say sacrificial. I don't think that's right. I don't know why they were hooded, but one felt ceremonial. Yeah, interesting.
Yes.
beautiful woman with long dark hair and dressed all in white, who is often spotted walking alone through the upper halls of the castle. The description of her being dressed in white will be interesting when we get into another story later. As I mentioned, over the years, Houska has been taken over by various groups. There are rumours that the site high atop this limestone cliff was used in the past as a place of worship for the pagans in the area, and that the location has become something of a spiritual battleground of sorts, as the emergence of Christianity pushed out the traditional beliefs of the area. This mixture of pagan and Christian imagery is even present on the walls of the chapel. It is also somewhere that those with an interest in the occult seem to be drawn to. In the year 1630, the castle was said to have been taken over by a gang of mercenaries, led by a man named Oranto. He and his men are taken to raping and pillaging the surrounding settlements, and bringing back not just goods but also people to their new home of Castle Houska. But why Houska? The story goes that Oranto had a strong interest in the occult and alchemy. The locals believed that Oronto and his men were bringing the kidnapped villagers back to the castle to use them in rituals and perform experiments on them. They believed that Oronto had either already achieved or was attempting to complete a black magic ritual that would give him eternal life, meaning that no one would be able to stop the violent mercenary. Most of the locals were too afraid to go up against Oronto and his gang, so instead 2 hunters were hired to attempt to kill the man. Knowing about Oronto's potential magical powers, the hunters apparently sourced special ammunition from a blacksmith with a knowledge of the occult. The bullets were produced under a specific ritual that he claimed would give the hunters the ability to kill Oronto. That night, the 2 hunters approached the castle. From the outside, they could see the window of the room Oronto was staying in, lit up by candlelight, as the man was working late into the evening. The hunters gently called out Oronto's name, who approached his window to see who dared to call on him at such a late hour. With just a single shot, the hunters apparently hit Oronto between the eyes. But to add an even stranger thing to this tale, Oronto didn't die immediately. The hunters quickly made their escape, and Oronto lay on the floor of his bedchamber, calling for his men to bring him his black hen that he seemingly believed would somehow save his life. But before the men could fetch the bird, he would bleed to death. News quickly spread of Oronto's passing, and while many of his men fled, the local law enforcement arrived soon after to take the remaining men to prison. leaving Castle Houska empty once again. Early in the 19th century, the castle was undergoing yet another change in ownership, and subsequently another renovation. This provides us with a story of one maintenance worker who found himself alone late one afternoon, working close to the chapel. He was busy repairing a wall when he heard something. A voice. He couldn't quite make out what was being said, but he didn't think any of his colleagues were supposed to be working in the chapel that day. The man called out, but the voice didn't seem to react. It didn't stop speaking, but it didn't respond to his calls. The man downed his tools and headed into the chapel, pushing the doors wide open. It was empty. There was a moment of silence before the chattering started up again. It began to sound like it was more than one voice. The man looked around the chapel, baffled at what was going on. But as he moved throughout the room, the voices got louder. He could tell they were speaking another language, one he did not recognize. And even more concerning was the fact that the source of the voices seemed to be coming from inside the walls of the chapel. The man was immediately terrified and turned and ran. He refused to ever return to Castle Houska again. When he was asked if he recognized any of the words he had heard, he said that the only one he could identify was the fact that the voice kept saying Seraph over and over again. Seraph is said to be a celestial being that is present throughout Christianity, Judaism, and Islamic beliefs. One of the other frequently reported...
What do you make of that?
One thing I saw, I forget the guy's name, the bandits
Yeah.
who took over. So I saw that the leader, and he's got some sort of black dust that he's putting on people's heads. So it may have been an herb, or I think it's an herb somewhere along those lines. Somehow involved in a ritual.
Yeah.
I got that there. There are a lot of scattered pieces here. So it's, I mean, you're definitely going to hear stuff.
I think it was all in his head.
Voices. Sorry, go ahead.
The voices were in his head. So I think the band's quite spiritual in a way. So he was probably very clairaudient and would hear these voices. So I took it in the head, clairvoyant, clairaudient.
Yeah.
But you just say with that spirit, but I think it was more to do with the area and yeah. The guy, yeah, I agree with the guy was tempted with the feeling of the place, the power, the control.
Yeah.
Yeah, and rituals. So, you know, he just seemed to go down a downward spiral to get darker and darker and darker.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Phenomena at Castle Houska is that of apparent time slips. The most famous of these accounts comes from the writer and poet Karel Hynek Matcha. It is said that Matcha was taking a walking tour of the area in 1836 when he decided to take lodging for the night at Castle Houska. That night, as he lay in bed, Matcha claimed to have had a dream that had such a profound effect on him. He recounted it to a friend when he returned home. He said that in his dream he felt like he was falling through a dark tunnel, deep into a pit, with endless darkness surrounding him. But unlike the prisoners, he did reach a bottom of some sorts. He claimed he came out into a world that he described as horribly mechanized. He wandered the streets of what he soon realized was Prague, but everything seemed different. He spoke to a little girl who told him the year was 2006. He stated that this little girl showed him moving pictures in a small casket that she held in her hands. He also stated that as darkness fell on this hellish, as he described it, version of Prague, that he walked among sandstone cliffs riddled with holes that projected eerie yellow lights. Many have suggested that this description chillingly matches up to the huge tower block homes on the outskirts of Prague in the modern day.
Interesting.
100 years later, Europe would be undergoing yet another massive change. The world was at war, and in 1938 the Munich Pact was signed, effectively handing over huge portions of the Czech Republic to Nazi Germany. In the middle of this land that they now had control over, the Nazis commandeered 4 castles, one of which was Houska. While many people are well aware about the Nazis banning certain books and subsequent public burnings of these books, many pieces of banned literature were collected by the Nazis and stored in Berlin. This included many books on Judaism, Masonic literature, and esotericism. Many have also suggested that among these books that they kept were thousands of volumes on the occult. The Nazis feared that the bombing raids would damage the collection, and instead decided to relocate the books to a remote region of the Czech Republic, splitting the books between the 4 castles. Much has been written about the Nazis' interest in the occult, while it's debatable if Hitler himself actually put much weight into it. Himmler was seemingly fascinated by the subject, apparently taking something of a scientific approach to the study. Over the years, he developed an increasing hatred of Christianity, as it was said that he wanted to take the German people back to their pagan roots, although a form of neo-paganism that he himself was developing. Apparently, along this journey, while researching his own ancestry, he discovered that an ancestor of his had been burned as a witch. This leads to a lot of debate amongst people about why exactly the Nazis chose these castles to store the books. The majority of what the Nazis were up to at Houska Castle during the war is simply rumour and speculation. But then, so much of the Houska story is. Some have said that Houska was used as a place for the Nazis to bring captured Polish and Russian women to begin the process of breeding the future of the Aryan race. But others say this is a twisting of events, and that the castle was actually being used as a brothel for the German troops. There are also claims that Himmler was a regular at Houska, and he was using the castle for experiments and rituals, that often the German high command was summoned to the castle to partake in rituals that he believed would turn the war in the Germans' favour, with even Hitler himself being present at some of these ceremonies. One story suggesting that the Nazi leader was one of the many that claimed to experience a time slip in the castle, taking him to a different era in the same location.
Sorry, that really resonates with me. The time slip.
Yeah, me too.
But it was like many things I said earlier, beginning, it really felt the Nazis were trying to find artifacts, trying things of folklore, of fantasy, were trying to find if they were real, like the Ark of the Covenant. And so in terms of Jewish artifacts and books, I don't get they burned them because they had so much information, they kept them. And I feel that drawn to this castle, there was books that had things, and I think not just for the castle, but it seems generally anyway, cult or whatever it was. I get a feeling as well that trying to find the solution to living forever.
Mm-hmm. Mortality.
Yeah. I don't think people were brought there to increase Aryan life. It was a brothel for the men who stayed there. I did get that.
Yeah.
What? Not just that. a place to experiment.
Yes.
I could get that as well, which you could imagine majority of places like this in the Second War were there, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, peasant folk and Jewish and um, gypsies and all that, all seen as lesser than animals, as it were. So it has a very dark sentiment to this place that just doing anything dark to it actually increased the environment, increased the energy.
Yeah.
They
And
fed
the
off.
grids, it felt like what grids maybe were originally there, total collapse. And like new grids were formed
Oh yes,
at odd angles that would not be like the way we would grid now.
no,
Does that make sense?
it felt yeah, because it's a different dimension.
Yes.
These are and the grid. I get grids. The grids changed as well.
Yes.
They were flexible to change to how to the dimension they were at. Yeah.
Yeah.
Outside help. Why am I doing that? They were getting outside help. Negative outside help. I don't know what. I don't know why. I'm just going to leave it there. Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
Cover the
Yeah. And I got,
Oh,
sorry.
I'm so sorry, Heather. I'm like, blah, 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 blah. Forget Heather. Let's go on.
Yeah. You don't care.
Sorry, go on, Heather.
Yeah. I do get that they brought in mediums or psychics or those who had this type of what they viewed as a power.
Yeah,
They keep getting the word power reinforced with it.
they were trying. Yeah, they wanted to really win the war, so they needed something to help them boost that and boost
Yes.
their power. Yeah, I got that as well. Gypsies, Romanian, Czechoslovakian, like with fortune tellers that knew stuff. They would bring them in. Yeah,
Yeah.
I get twins.
Hmm.
Don't know why twins. Maybe they saw them as powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Anything else?
Mm.
I'm so sorry.
we will never know. Obviously, records were destroyed before the Allied forces claimed the area back. But a dark shadow of their brief reign of terror over Houska did emerge several years after the war. The castle was being used for convalescent stay for a group of unwell children. How exactly they discovered them, I am unsure, but at some point during their stay, they discovered that 3 of the Nazis were still there. They were long dead, seemingly executed by their own men, as no reports of any battles had taken place in the area. Even more strangely, though, is that the bodies of the 3 Nazis were discovered, just placed, underneath the floorboards of the castle. Throughout the 20th century and into modern times, the tales of demonic entities seem to have died down. That's not to say it hasn't had its fair share of recent phenomena. One of the previous owners of the castle spoke about how one evening he was in a room drinking wine with friends. He placed his glass down on the table. The entire group quickly stopped laughing and joking when they witnessed the man's glass lift off the table and hover in the air before them all. The man in question reached out and picked his glass up from the unseen hand that appeared to be holding it. He placed it back down on the edge of the table, only to then see it being dragged across the table until it was central before it totally stopped moving. The castle has become very popular with ghost hunters, with a number of teams visiting the castle. In 2014, one such team visited. They claimed that much of their electronic equipment's batteries were drained despite being fully charged. Heard a number of odd sounds throughout the chapel. And one member even claimed to have felt a burning sensation on his chest. When he pulled up his t-shirt, he revealed a blistering burn underneath. Others have made reports about doors being unopenable despite not being locked, and hearing the rattling sounds of tools echoing through the halls. The castle has actually been open to the public since 1999. However, in one documentary, the castle's wardens claim that they were forced to limit overnight stays after one night a person who wanted to stay in the castle to see if they could experience anything unexplainable threw themselves from the bedroom window in the middle of the night. Another common occurrence is that of seeing shadow figures walking through the castle, often up on the walkway above the courtyard. This figure is said to be harmless, and people believe it's merely there to keep watch over the whole. But one couple who were dining at the castle one evening claimed to have had a darker experience. They heard a loud thump on the floor and turned to look at what had caused the noise, but there was nothing. When they turned back, they saw two semi-transparent figures, dressed in black robes, that had no faces. The figures quickly moved towards the couple, whispering to one another before fading away. The couple were convinced that they heard them talking about the killing of young girls. A number of people who believe they have psychic abilities have made claims about Houska Castle and time travel, with one story being reported about an Irishman who visited the castle in recent years, who claimed that there was a specific room in the castle that could be used to transport oneself through time. Some have suggested that the castle doesn't exactly let you travel through time physically.
I said that from the beginning. I felt time lapse.
Yeah.
Really strong is there's a time, not only in our this planet, but it feels like other dimensions as well.
Yes.
Yeah,
I
and
agree.
lot of residual energy. The energy changes, swells. So it come one, it will be this, and then suddenly it'll be something else later, or I know this is going to sound really strange. I couldn't feel any. The earthies are around the castle. They're not in it.
Yeah.
And
Because I can't find them.
I don't feel anything paranormal in the castle. There's energies. What they are, I don't know. But I wouldn't. There's residual energy on it, obviously, as well.
Yeah,
Also, I
yeah.
feel that there is. I'm being shown Star Trek. What do you mean by Star Trek? Oh, where they beam themselves in and out.
What does that mean?
I don't know. People beaming themselves in and out. But it's more to do with.
The dimensions?
I don't know. It's more fear mongering and. All I got was fear mongering to cause fear rather than people to go on and investigate. Yeah.
Okay.
What'd you get?
Residual, because I see a child hiding, but that's residual. I do get the impact of the other dimensions, I think, but I hear like the door has to open though for like the other, so it's not all the time for certain places for you to have any interaction with if you're at the castle. Some, Not that it's on a necessarily a timer, but there's something has to occur. And then
Yeah,
there
agreed.
could be an interaction, but it's somebody who's in another dimension from where you are.
Yes, yes,
That was a
yes,
lot to
yes.
say.
The other thing I got, so the time and opening, whether it's doorways to places and other dimensions, generally are healthy and good, or it's okay. There is one that's been opened they haven't been able to close. That's one that's really bad.
Yeah.
But something is over masking it. So I don't know if it's other um, doorways and time slips. The energy of something is over masking it. So then that becomes a focus.
Hmm.
There was something else as well.
There's something about the interdimensional of the place.
I mean, yeah, yes.
I don't know what that means. It's like,
And it's not in the castle, it's below it. I don't know if tunnels or stairways or something, or how they've. I don't know. It's weird. It's weird. It's confusing.
I don't know how they did this.
But I'd also got loads of residual energy. I got women cowling in a room. I got
Yeah.
and it's things that have impactful, that have left their imprint. Also, what are those things I keep getting? Not splinters.
Scattered pieces.
Yes, scattered pieces. Thank you.
Scattered or
Yes,
shattered?
yes, shattered. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
There's a ton of them.
yeah. And they seem to move as well, come in
Yes.
and out within the time and in the way. It's weird.
Yes.
Rather than just say it's just being in one room, they seem to move around and then suddenly zoom, gone, and then another one, zoom, and then there's another one. That's what I mean by the Star Trek sort of big beep coming in and out.
Yes. Yeah, I don't know why that's happening. But if they want me to know, they'll tell me.
Okay, I'm going on a limb. Going on a limb.
Okay.
Hang on. So the people with the hoods, they control some of the time. Somebody has the skill to control time.
Mm.
This isn't the only area. Not all the hoods. They said these people. It felt. And I said,
Yeah.
"Oh,
Yeah.
they felt like oh, they could be technicians. With their flip with their writing all the stuff on the notepad and it felt like that, but way up, way in the future.
Oh, here. Yeah. And the confusion is coming in to block me from looking at it
Really?
right now. Yep. It just came in.
Oh, I've got chills.
And now I don't even want to. Now I just suddenly feel totally disinterested and tired and like
Oh
lazy.
my God! Did I touch on something? Oh yeah. Oh, we're naughty.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
It's
can.
a ton of energy from them.
Yeah,
It's very directed.
yeah.
And it's hard to go up against it, you know?
Not if you know how.
Yeah.
Not if you know how. Whether we do, I don't know. Okay. Okay, we've got
Okay.
4 minutes.
But
Let's go.
instead does
Gosh, this is
something to our minds that
exciting.
allows us to view the past or the future, almost like a hologram. This brings us to one final story on the whole time travel thing
Ooh.
that I initially wasn't going to include, but then when I made the mental connection to the woman in white, I couldn't resist. A clinical hypnotherapist called Alexandra Mackenzie had become fascinated with the story of Houska Castle and claimed she felt it was calling her to it. One day she made the trip to the castle and instantly headed down toward the infamous chapel. But she said when she approached the doorway, she felt something telling her not to go in, as though something was warning her she was headed the wrong way. Instead, she found herself drawn to heading outside, exploring the grounds. As she walked up a nearby hill, she claimed she felt a strong gust of wind blow through her hair, and then she was hit with the sudden realization that something had changed. She glanced down to see that she was now dressed all in white, with a belt wrapped around her waist, embroidered with flowers, a look she described as being like a priestess. She followed the path back down the hill towards the castle, being joined by other young women as she did. As she approached the castle, she realized they were all moving in what felt like some sort of procession. She then glanced down again. This time, though, she was completely naked. That is when she claimed that she was hit with the overwhelming realization that they were marching towards their deaths, that she was heading into Houska Castle to be sacrificed. Her memory appears to become jumbled about what happened when she stepped foot inside. But just a few moments later, she found herself stood back up on that hill, dressed in her normal clothes. So what's really happening at Houska Castle? As I mentioned at the start of the episode, this is a location so steeped in very real dark history as well as folklore, so it becomes almost impossible to gauge how much weight to give any individual story. There have been some suggestions that maybe people really do see things at this castle, but that there is a very natural reason for this. Could the split in the limestone have sent up some sort of gas that caused the residents to hallucinate, and that these reported hallucinations then created a terrifying legacy around the castle? And then, over the years, people began to expect to see the fantastical, even if it wasn't really there. The claims about the castle having no outside defences at all seem a little suspicious as well. Seemingly there was at least a moat surrounding the castle, as well as other possible defences, but that these were taken away during one of the many remodelings of the location. Stories about hidden rooms in the castle and a lack of windows could also be explained by the constant restructuring of the building. Much is said about the lack of any strategic reason for the castle to be there, but it isn't far from other castles in the region. Regardless, the design of the castle is unusual, and the drawings in the chapel do really spark the imagination. Is Houska Castle simply a hole in the ground that started as local superstition before merging with a more modern interest in the paranormal? Or is there something more to it than that? Maybe this wasn't just a place for the Nazis to store books. Maybe there is a reason why so many people over the centuries have seen it as a location of high importance to the spiritual realm. And maybe, if you happen to walk into the right room at the right time, you can walk back out into a completely different world.
Yeah, that was awesome.
I did get a hit on the gas, but I don't know if it was from
Was that coming from limestone or something?
yeah, I don't know if necessarily it was from the crate, the hole. But yes, I did get limestone gas. It would cause problems.
Okay.
Yeah. And something else to do with, yeah, think I don't think aging, but it affected the skin, and got affected, or affected the plants, affected the crops, affected the animals. Yeah, so I think
Hmm.
something was to do with the limestone. Interesting. So, how did you find it?
It's a fascinating place. I would not want to go.
Oh, I would.
Um,
Yeah, I'd like to.
good for you.
Yeah, I'd like to have one at a cam and go, right, Mari-Lyn, Heather, I'm coming up to the grounds now. Wouldn't that be amazing?
It
Oh,
would be though. Yeah.
yeah. Ah, gosh. And then go, where's he gone? Oh, he's time slipped. No, my luck, it'd be to prehistoric years.
Yeah.
Oh dear. But no, it was good. What did you guys think? What did you, the viewers, what do you think of um it was more of us reacting, I think, this time and feeling what possibility was there. I didn't really feel
Yeah.
anything apart from earthies around the castle, but
Hmm.
inside it, I mean, it wasn't a ghost investigation, so it was more detrimental, but actually touching, feeding into it, we
Right.
to react. How did you find it? Did you enjoy
Hmm.
it? Did you, yeah, what do you think of what we were saying? Do you think,
Has anyone been there?
yeah, has anyone been there? Fantastic. Or if
Yeah.
does anyone know of any similar castles or similar areas that you
Ooh.
want us to look into as well? Let us know. Go to our website, tcseverydaysargets.com, and message on our message page
Yeah.
with the YouTube
Hmm.
details. So yes, interesting. You know what? It feels a bit like a can of worms. There is more to this than meets the eye. I think it's just a
Yeah.
pinprick of of what was happening.
Yeah, it feels like it's ever unfolding. There's just more and more that you can uncover as you go.
Totally, totally,
Mhm.
totally agree with that.
And I
Okay.
think people have a different reaction there. Some people go and they really do mm, over-identify with the energies and the people, so they kind of take them on as their own.
Yeah,
There's every response that can occur, and that's important.
I feel also it feels also like someone says, "Oh, I just saw a winged man." Did you? Oh, I saw a winged man. You know, I feel that as well. It's sort of there's a lot of
Yeah.
uh, having to shift through what's reality and what is folklore or
Yes.
as humans folklore that we've been saying, um, but again, going back to the Nazis, I really feel they were searching for something,
Hmm.
really do. Yeah, that's
There
good.
were.
All right, well, that's it for
Yeah.
today. We hope you enjoyed this beautiful video with myself, Nathan, and lovely Heather, and we will look
Yeah.
forward to seeing you soon. So everyone, take care, and yeah, have a
Thanks, guys.
bye.
Bye.